Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. It's Tuesday night. That must mean Lightroom Live. Welcome. This is the show where I take your RC photos and we make them look a little bit better. I hope everybody can hear me. Check in, tell me where you're from, and I'll try to get my cat to stop meowing in everyone's ear. Hope everyone's having a great week. Back to school for a lot of kids, so that's exciting, which means parents get some time away, finally. I don't know what that's like. I don't have any kids. My animals are my kids. Provided everyone can hear me and everything looks good, let's switch over to Lightroom and get started with the first photo. We're going to start with the cover photo for the thumbnail for the video today. This one's from Brandon Coffee, and it looks pretty awesome. I already really like what I'm seeing. This is a nice high resolution raw photo, so thank you, Brandon, for sending that my way. What did I want to say? If you guys have photos you want to submit, it's super easy. Submissions at scalebuildersguild.com. You send those to me. I bring them into Lightroom. I correct them. I re-export them and email them out to everybody. I think I actually was ahead of the game and got all of my photos exported already this week. So I feel very smart. Very smart indeed. Yeah, so let's get on to this first photo here. I love these night shots. It's not easy to capture good looking RC photos at night. And this one's definitely on there. Hey, Brandon Coffee already checked in. Nice of you to check in. Thanks for coming by. This is a Vitera. No, it's got portals. That's a TRX4 with a Vitera body on it. Looks like some nice custom metal work on the front there as well. Some nice looking scale accessories, including a winch and some stuff on the rooftop rack. That's cool. Who else we've got here? David Crabtree, hello. McLean Customs, Ratty Repair, David Prill, Ryan Davis, Pure Life RCO1, TJ. Are you cheating in your TJ? Moose Jaw, hello. Happy Tuesday. And yet here I am dealing with other people's kids and grading. Oh man, already. The belly aching. No, I'm kidding. Thank you, Moose Jaw, for teaching our children. Although, I don't know. Wes Braswell, hello, Wes, how are you? Oh, Josh from Harley Designs, hello. Robbie Bobster, hello. Dawson Bossy, Mike Guy, Steve D. Hello, everyone. Ryan Davis, Bowen Abbott, Bowenabnit. I always have a hard time with that last name. Can you send in pictures of your drift? Yeah, send in pictures of your drift RC. Why not? All right, let's get on this photo. Yeah. Photos at night are difficult because you need a lot more light hitting the lens, and therefore you need to use a tripod usually. If you're not using a tripod and you've got a long exposure, things will start to blur. And you can see a little tiny bit of blurring here in these tires. Not a big deal. It does create some drama. Anything that's moving at night and you're on a big wide open shutter, or wide open aperture, I mean, you're going to get some blur. That's natural. But everything else looks pretty sharp. And in fact, it's really cool. I know this isn't starlight, but it kind of feels that way. So let's see what we can do to kind of bring this one to life. I already love the fact that you got nice warm headlights going. That's amazing. Yeah, very cool. White balance and everything, tint. This is all set as shot because this is obviously a raw photo. Just wondering if we make some changes here, if we're going to see any big changes. I don't think it's probably worth actually doing that. So let's play with this a little bit. I'm going to cool it off though, as you can see here. So that was where it was. And I'm just bringing down the temperature overall ever so slightly. And the idea here is to kind of really make it feel a bit more like moonlight. We can go back in and recorrect these headlights if we need to. I still feel like they're warm enough for this scene, so I'm not going to do too much there. Just for the sake of exposure, and just kind of doing the experiment, I'm going to show you what it's like when you crank up the exposure. Now you can see all of the elements in this photo. All these little hits of light is probably dust. There is a big light right up here, so it could be another truck maybe using their light bar or whatever to light up the scene. You get a better idea of what kind of terrain is here. Obviously, we're not going to leave it this overexposed because this is way too much. So we're going to dial it back a little bit. This is where it was, like way back here. I think we're just going to lift it a little tiny bit so we get a bit more of these rays from the light that's overhead. And I'm also going to bring up the shadows a little bit. And I'm going to lower our highlights. And you can see where our highlights are affecting is in the headlights. If we zoom in here, if I play with these highlights, you can see I can go more blown out on the headlights, or we can dial it way back and actually get some more definition out of all those things. So another little top tip, highlights can be very, very key. And yeah, now, right, now you're absolutely right, Moose Jaw. It definitely feels a bit more like moonlight coming into the frame because we've cooled it off. We've upped our exposure a little bit, and we've just given it a bit more light to play with. And definitely by cooling it off, it definitely feels more like moonlight as well. Shane Clips 97 RAW is the file format, right? Yes. So will your phone can't shoot in RAW? I would need like a DSLR. Yeah, you're sort of correct. Some phones, some of the more high-end phones will shoot RAW. You got to dive into your settings. It depends entirely on the phone that you're on. But yeah, RAWs or CR2s, as they're also known, usually come out of things like mirrorless cameras or DSLRs, or any modern digital camera, I think, can also shoot RAW. Or you can shoot just in plain old JPEG, and those will work just fine as well. RAW I like because it builds in a lot more data into the actual file, so you do have a lot more latitude on a photo, but JPEGs work just fine. Wow, we've done a lot of talking and not a lot of correcting. We've only done like 3 things so far. But what I am going to do is give us a little extra texture and a little more clarity as per usual. And you can see how it's really bringing these highlights to life now. I'm also going to increase our overall saturation. So that is going to bring more warmth into those headlights and more red naturally into the truck as well. So we get a bit more of that. I also feel like we could do a bit of a crop on this photo. And I know that sounds way out of character for me. Where's Video 22? He's usually right on top of that. I'm going to try to keep the original format of the framing. And I'm just going to do, I think, that much there. That way we don't lose a lot of the rays and we keep all of the rays up there too. Maybe just a touch that way. I think that'll do it. That feels a lot more centered to me. It feels like the truck is more the actual subject again. There was a lot of negative space over here, and that's sort of one way to describe things that you don't really want to see, you don't need. Negative space. Negative space is important though, and maybe I can explain that by doing a probably like too aggressive of a crop. Like this is all truck now. It's almost too much truck. So by using the negative space, what happened there? There we go. Yeah. By using the negative space to our advantage, you get your eye to focus on the actual subject, which is the truck in this case. So that's kind of a good definition of negative space and how it can be used. All right. What was I going to do next? Oh, I'll go into my HSLs here, and under my luminance sliders, I'm going to play a bit with the red, and I am dialing back the luminance, and that means kind of like introducing more contrast into the red itself. So that's what's been done there. But I am also going to go back in and increase our saturation of that red. And then I'm going to go in and change the hue a little bit. into a little bit towards the magenta end of things. And it's just to kind of help suggest that the moon is lighting this truck and introducing some cool into that red. That's a lot of describing of things. But it's important. It's important to kind of explain everything that you're doing in a photo like this, so that way maybe you'll do the same thing. Okay. Everything else I'm feeling pretty good about. I might bring up the yellows ever so slightly in terms of our saturation. And I think that's probably going to do it. I do want to see a before here. Wow, that's a pretty massive change, I'd say. That's the before, and that's the after. Let's go full screen here for a moment. Before and after. I think that looks pretty cool. I really love all these little specks of dust that have been lit up by this overhead light. It really brings a lot of drama to this photo. I think it looks pretty fantastic. Really nice photo, Brandon. Thank you for giving me something to kind of challenge me and do something a little bit different. I think that looks pretty badass. Yeah. So I think we're going to move on. There are a lot of photos. I got a ton of submissions this week, which is really encouraging. It means you guys are watching this show and you're enjoying this show. And that means we're just going to have to continue doing this show. What week is this? Did I change it to update properly? 11 weeks of Lightroom Live. So that's pretty amazing. Feel pretty good about that. Okay, let's move on to another one here. Maybe something in the daylight, I think. That would be a good choice. Here's one from Mark Purrington, and this looks to be, that's an element, I think. That's an element Enduro with a axial Cherokee body on it. I think that's an Enduro. Yep, it is. I can tell by the panhard mount and the axle, of course. Nice Proline wheels and tires on there, it looks like. It's a good looking truck. I love the background too. That looks like a pretty hazy day. I hope maybe this was taken in California. I mean, it does have GPS coordinates. Maybe I'll take a look myself, and so that way we're not giving away any data here. Definitely zooming out here. It looks to be in Washington State, right? Cool. Back to app sharing. I'm not giving away anything there. Anyway, very nice location. Looks pretty cool. Good looking truck. Looks like we'll have some fun with this one. Looks like it's a big enough photo. So let's start by warming it up a little tiny bit. Crop wise, I think I'm feeling okay with that. I'm not going to crop this one, believe it or not. But I am going to give it a bit of a rotation, just slightly. Just want to try to even out that truck a little bit. That's only 0.7. It's not huge. And remember, because it's not currently constrained, it does have a little bit of white here and here and here and here. So you just hit constrain and it just zooms it in to avoid that. I'm sure you do, David, and I think there might even be another one of your picks in the mix for this week if I get to it. I wouldn't be surprised if there was. You do send a lot of picks. Yes, there is. There is at least one of yours in here. And we'll probably get to it tonight. All right. All right, so exposure-wise, I'm feeling okay. Contrast, I'm going to amp that up a little bit. Highlights, I'm going to bring those down a touch. Shadows, I'm going to lift because I want to see a little. I like seeing the texture under a truck, all the axles and links and what have you. I like seeing all that stuff under there. Hey, Rock Pirate. This is Adobe Lightroom. It is not free. There is I think there's like a basic-ish version that's available on mobile, maybe? I'm not sure. I know that it comes with a mobile one when you pay for the Creative Suite. It's a pretty good deal if you do a lot of photo editing, if you do a lot of Photoshop work, if you do a lot of Illustrator, or if you're a film editor like I am. Adobe is an excellent creative program full of all kinds of great stuff. I actually even really early on used Dreamweaver, which is another Adobe product, to revamp part of the website for the forum. Yeah, so lots of different possibilities in there. And while it is not free, I do find that it is worth its weight in gold. All right, so just going to cooling off the sky in the background, just doing something a bit different here, and introducing some tint of magenta into that. I'll also lower its exposure a little bit so we get a bit more texture, so we see a bit of those rolling hills in the background. And I may also even give it a touch more contrast and lower our highlights so you really get to see those things pop there. I think that's good. No crop tonight on this one. BGR DBCHXJ. Do you have an XJ? I'll bet you do. All right. Moving on, saturation. You can tell that this was at sunset. There's some really heavy, nice warmth coming in. I really like seeing that. Whites, I think we're pretty good on. I may just dial it back a little bit. And then blacks, I'm going to lift those up. Texture, I'm not going to introduce a lot because this isn't super high res. You can tell it's a bit grainy in the background here. Things start to fall apart a little bit. And then vibrance, I'm going to kick that up a little notch as well. I think we'll do a radial filter here, just to kind of amplify our view of the truck. And I'm going to raise the shadows up even a little tiny bit more in there and bring our highlights back down. And you're like, well, that's counterintuitive. One, doesn't that go with the other? Sort of. But you can see if we left our highlights where they were, then it gets a little bit too bright. And if I had kept the shadows where they were, you wouldn't see the grill. So now we're getting a little bit of texture of the grill in there. And that's looking pretty good, I think. And let's go down to our HSL sliders and let's change the hue on those greens a little bit and really kind of get those to come to life a little bit. Yellow, I'm going to keep the hue where it is, but I am going to bring up the saturation on that a little bit and on the greens as well. And maybe even the magentas, because I can feel that in those hills up at the top here, if I amplify that, it's gonna increase. Sorry, I'm laughing because BGRDBCH means big red bitch, and it's a red lifted XJ. Amazing. That's a great one. I love it. Good one. Craig Thompson said, I took a ton of pics this week too, but had to restrain myself on sending a huge photo dump. Hey, send away, Craig. I'll get to him. I promise you that. Michael, yes, you definitely should send in a few photos. It really is fun for me to do these corrections. And I know you guys get a kick out of it too. So always happy to. Big Red Bitch, we have a few sticker sets left. So if you are interested in those, the link should still be in the description and you can just order away. It's all automated through PayPal. As long as you've got an address attached, I will send them out. Otherwise, I will get in touch with you. More crop. I don't want to crop this one. I like seeing all this background in here, Adam. I'll find one that is a bit more widescreen friendly. How's that sound? Okay, let's do a little paintbrush work here, and I'm just gonna paint a little bit of shadow work in here, just so we can kind of center our eye a little bit. And the best way to do that is just introduce a little bit of exposure and keep that saturation up. And then really add some contrast and boost our shadows a bit as well. Not too much though. Want it to still feel kind of natural. And I think that's going to do it for this one. Full screen on this one. See if I can move it up. Oops. I'll have to stay there for now. Oh, let's throw a little vignette on there while I'm at it. That helps. And before, after. Before, after. I think that's feeling pretty good. Before, after. Yep, I like that one. That's cool. Yeah, the background is really, really good. Everything kind of feels kind of scale accurate because none of these big trees are really super close to the truck, but depth of field is pretty wide on this one, so it does kind of feel like it's all part of the same environment. That's pretty good. Very nice photo, Mark Purrington. Thank you very much for your submission. Much appreciated. Let's move on to the next one. And which one did I want to do next? Oh yeah, I don't think I did this one from Robbie Bobster last week. I meant to get to this convoy of trucks. I always like seeing a whole bunch of trucks together, um, even if they're not perfectly within scale to each other. Like a D90 is nowhere near as big as a Blazer, but I'll allow it. I'm not I'm not a scale I'm not a super scale nerd here. I'm not gonna like lose my mind if things aren't totally 100% accurate. That wouldn't be very nice anyway. The whole point of this is to do something uh, helpful and fun. Uh, Here's crop number 2, folks. There we go. This is really nice, though. I liked seeing a bunch of trucks together. It means friends, and that's always really nice. So, very cool that you were able to get out with a bunch of people, Robbie. Very nice. All right. What are we going to do first? Let's warm it up a touch. And I think we're going to underexpose this ever so slightly. It's really going to help bring out some of the texture in these background elements here. Contrast, I am going to amplify that. Highlights, I think I'm going to bring down a little bit because I like seeing, if we zoom in here, you can see how the highlights affect that roof. It's a Harley roof, and you get to see a little bit more of the texture of that fading paint. So that's why I did that. Get some more texture and a little clarity in there too. Nice trucks. So many British trucks. So how many? Two Toyotas, one Chev, one Jeep, and 3 Land Rovers. Very cool. There's always one Chevy that spoils the party. Amazing. That's great. Love it. And I'm just going to give it a touch of saturation and vibrance as well. What else? Definitely going to vignette this one. And let's bring those shadows up a little bit. What's this license plate on the front say? Top heavy. Oh, that's good. That's a good one. SBG approved of that license plate. That's pretty funny. Very good. What else do I want to do here? I'm kind of feeling it. Like none of the what's great about this pick is that none of the trucks are like really stealing focus. They're all just sort of right there, like nothing really feels out of place, nothing really feels like it's stealing the attention of the viewer. There's always something really cool to look at. Yeah, I'm just really happy with this. I mean, I don't feel like it needs too much. Yeah. I'm trying to think about what else I would want to do, but I think it just feels kind of right. Before, after. I think we just kind of like amplified it up a little bit, make it feel a bit better overall. Yeah, I'm pretty pleased with that. Simple, but very effective. before, after. That's the thing. I think that you kind of have to remember that not every photo is going to be like, holy wow, so different. It's just about subtle adjustments can make a really big difference. And you can see right here, I mean, not tons has changed, but it just makes it feel a little better, a little bit polished. And some of them are simpler than others. This is one of them. So thank you, Robbie, for a great photo. Video, I've only cropped twice so far, and I've done 3. 3? Did I do 4? I don't even remember now. Doesn't matter. Anyway, since Video's here, we might as well take care of this one real quick. This appears to be a Honcho. Gen 1 Honcho, too, not even a SCX-10 2. But nice looking environment. Was this in Utah? Let me know in the comments. Oh, so thirsty. I spent all day in this chair today. I had a long session of watching other people work. Part of my job, I'll try to sum it up really quickly, but as a film editor, and I work mostly in advertising and commercials, the biggest part of my job is the editing, obviously. And working from home, I spend a lot of time sitting in front of the computer, and I work through my edits and I share my screen, sort of like what I'm doing right now. But I share my screen with my clients, and they get to input on their stuff. And then once we lock the cut with the agency, they send it to their clients. They look at it. We do the same thing over again. And then sort of the finishing steps, once everything's been approved, once they've locked the cut, I take all of those clips that I used in my edit and I send them to another facility where they do a color correction. It's also called telecine or transfer. There's a lot of different names for it. But what they essentially do is Lightroom, but for moving pictures. So a lot of my videos, of course, have color correction applied to them as well, and I do that myself. But this is on a much higher level. They've got multi-million-dollar setups, and we'll spend all day staring at the screen, making comments on little things like, "Oh, you need to make the badge on the front of the truck bigger, or not bigger, but more colorful, or more sharpened, or all kinds of different stuff like that." Hey, Master, thanks for stepping by and hitting that like button. Much appreciated. And in fact, if you haven't already hit the like button, you should, because there are fair number of you people watching right now, and about half the likes, so that would be great. And so that's sort of what I was doing all day today. Not the most entertaining for me after the 7th hour of that, but it was still a good day, just a long day. So this was at Moab. Awesome, great shot. Did you send this one because you wanted me to crop it? Because I'm more than happy to if you want. I'll crop away. But yeah, I think I am going to do a crop. But I won't keep the original proportions. Let's do just something like that. We'll actually do a little panorama style shot. I think that's helpful. I do like this environment. I would love to go to Moab someday, either on my on a bicycle, bicycle, or in my full-size daily 1-to-1 off-roader. That might be fun. So obviously texture, clarity, because we want those rocks to pop. Video, tell me what this little piece of tape is all about on the door here. I want to know what that is all about. I like how you've added it to the roll bar. That's pretty neat. Obviously very old school. You probably don't even remember why you did it. If you're as old and as forgetful as I am, anything's possible, I guess. Do a little bit of work in the sky here. Gonna hyper realism on that. Just to change the hue a little bit over here so it kind of has a bit of depth and differentiation between the blues. And I think I'm going to go into my hue and I'm going to play with the oranges a bit and maybe go a bit extreme on this one. Really kind of make these things change a lot. Keep the truck fairly normal, but really trying to play up some of these rocks a bit. Since it's an older model truck, we're going to introduce a little bit of light grain and a medium vignette, I think, as well. That looks pretty good. I'm just going to increase the sharpening a little bit, which I think helps, makes it look pretty cool. Truck itself looks pretty stock. And I'm just going back in and just dialing back my saturation a little bit. And I think we may have a winner there. Let me see what I can do in the highlights. There's not much in there, but I do like bringing them down a little bit. See how it just kind of lowers everything, brings a little more texture back into some of these clouds. Shadows, not much there either. Ooh, I'm on the big screen in the living room. Thanks, Dale C. Feel so famous. Here you can see me. Hello. All right. Probably bone stock. Yep. No interior. Points off. I'll allow it though. There's a full screen look at it. I think we've added a lot of drama to this photo. It's a little hyper realistic, but I don't mind that. I feel like if anything's going to be hyper real, it should be Moab. I think that looks pretty cool. Before, after. Before and after. 5/1 scale. It's my favorite scale to work in. 5 times larger than real life. So there you go, Vidjo. Thank you very much for the photo. Much appreciated. That was a fun one. I really like how that one turned out. I'm trying to find one that I've been meaning to do for a while. Mark Mathers here sent this TRX4 Bronco Americana themed. He's part of the Brass Brigade, and it looks like those are Vanquish wheels on there too. So that's a nice looking truck. Let's fix this one. I feel like it's got a pretty green tint overall, and I think that's probably just due to the location, time of day, and everything around it. So I'm going to try to get rid of some of that. There we go. It's just like the tint does play a big role in any photo. And you're welcome, Vidjo. My pleasure as always. Keep submitting. And if you just introduce some magenta into where all of that is in terms of your tint, it sucks all that green right out, and then you get a nice, clean truck to work with. I'm going to keep this fairly cool, I think. And then who's keeping track of the crops? I'm going to crop out that truck up there as best I can. And I'm going to lose a little bit of that too, I think. Better? Let's get a little more exposure in there, get more contrast in, bring our highlights down a little bit, bring our shadow, a little bit down on the shadows, but not too much. Oh, Video, I've cropped your photos before, I'm sure. Definitely more black, and then that way we can bring up the shadows a little bit. You can still see a lot of green in these reflections, and I'm going to try to dial that out as well, mostly through the HSL sliders. I'm not going to lose it entirely. I just want to kind of get rid of it a little bit. And there we go. That feels better already. What else did I want to do here? Saturation wise, I'm going to pull up the oranges and the reds and the blues just so we get that to really pop off the page. Pull down our vibrance slider a little bit so it's not buzzing. Reds, I am going to come back a little bit on that. Actually, what I'll do is I'll keep the stripes, but then we'll do some radial filters on the wheels. And I think it's already done it. Yeah, it did pull back the saturation a little bit. And we'll lower the exposure too, just so it's not like so like, pah. Yeah, duplicate that and move that onto that one. And we're done. That's helpful. And then I think I'm going to paint in a little bit of warmth there. Keep our exposure down. And I think I'm going to do the same thing over here. And over here. I think that's good there. Ooh, let's rotate this photo a little bit too. Just a scotch. Constrain that. And texture and clarity. See, clarity works against us here. And what happens is it kind of actually starts to blend a bit into the background. And you're right, Dale, those reflections are still a little distracting. So if we go in and pull all the green out, that should help. Then it does change the whole look of this photo, right? So gonna have to find a different way to bring in some life, and I think it's through a little bit of yellow in our saturation, and maybe even doing that. That helps. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Definitely worthy of a pretty heavy vignette, I think, as well. It's not a big photo, so we are dealing with that. That's the actual size. But I think that's looking pretty good. Before, after, I think we've definitely brought the truck to life. Why don't we do one more radial filter around the truck a little bit, just to really, just to really get it popping. And this should be just a touch of exposure, and I think that'll do it. Yeah, that's good. Before, after. So there we go. Mark Mathers, thank you very much for your submission. Nice looking photo, nice looking truck, and very patriotic. I like it. Nice job. Comments. Is the crop kind of like the enhance in movies? No, that would be like, yeah, well, the way the crop works here is that when you do crop, it does kind of resolve to the shape and the size that you cropped it to. Zooming in would be more accurate. if we were to like zoom in on the frame, because what this does is just keeps the resolution, right? So if you're working at like 1,000 pixels by 1,000 pixels and you crop it 200 pixels around left and right, then you're left with 800 by 800. It doesn't make it any bigger. It just zooms the frame. That's it. Michael Deem just sitting here waiting on stupid USPS to deliver a part to add to the MOG. I have been having a lot of trouble with USPS, especially with over the border stuff. So what I've been doing is shipping everything USPS, no, not USPS, UPS or FedEx. And then anything I'm getting delivered from the US, I also try to get delivered FedEx, just because I know I can rely on it to get here right away. I needed some stuff for the cruiser gear giveaway truck that I'm doing right now, and I needed that stuff right away. So I had it shipped FedEx from RPP, and it got there basically the next day, which was fantastic. Now I've got wheels that are actually really close to the full size, which is amazing. I'm so thrilled. The truck is looking fantastic. I don't know if you guys are even aware of what the giveaway is on that truck, but we're giving a, I'll try to sum it all up here. Cruiser Gear is a website, and it's, what is it here? cruisergear.co. And they're a Toyota themed website. They do all kinds of shirts, hats, patches, keychains, all of it Toyota themed. So if you're into Toyotas, off-roading at all, they've got all kinds of cool stuff there. And what Blake, who runs Cruiser Gear, does is he buys a full-size Toyota pickup or Land Cruiser or whatever, and he gets like a nice restored one. And then you buy stuff on his website and you get points to enter into the contest to win a full-size like FJ62, which is amazing. It's like the best thing ever. And now that they've opened it up, you can enter from Canada too. So I'm like, yes, not that I'm eligible to win this one, but it's a really great deal. And I mean, you get merchandise out of it, so something you already wanted, but then you get entries for this truck, and it's like amazing. So I wanted to somehow participate and show full-size off-roading guys that there's a whole world of tiny RC trucks that are like similar or very similar to the full-size examples. So we kind of came up with a deal where Scale Builders Guild would build a truck, and I'm going to get into that in a second. And RC Four-Wheel Drive would participate as well, and they're donating the chassis to this truck. And then I needed somebody to do the body work on this 3D printed Manitou MFAB FJ62 body. So I got, pardon my noob, Turks and Jerps to do all the body work for the truck. So he and I have sort of combined forces as we do on a lot of builds, and we're giving away a perfect replica example of the FJ62 that Blake is giving away on Cruiser Gear. And that's going to be given away to the winner of the full-size truck. So they get a big one to play around in and a tiny one to play around with. It's a really great opportunity. I thought it'd be good to kind of share our hobby with people that are into full-size off-roading, as I'm sure many of us already are. And it's going to be a great giveaway, and that happens in like 2 weeks. So get your orders in now. You'll still be eligible for it. And yeah, that's right, Wes. We combined like the Wonder Twins. You never know. I mean, all it takes is the right entry, right? It's all random. So it's going to be a good one for sure. And I'm so happy with the progress on the tiny one. It's coming together very quickly. It won't have a full interior. It won't have all the bells and whistles of a typical build that would come out of the Scale Builders Guild. But I did want to make it sort of, not so fragile and usable that people who win this thing will actually be able to drive and have some fun. It's going to be fully ready to run. Just pop a battery in and off you go. So it's very, very cool. And I'll tell you, that Cricut Air Explorer 2 or whatever it's called has been a godsend. That thing has put some pretty wicked, accurate stickers or decals for the stripes that go on that full-size truck. So by all means, go check out cruisergear.co. Now that I've talked myself hoarse, let's do another photo. Here's one from David Crabtree. Ooh, a nice big photo. I recognize this truck. This. Did you hold the phone? Now, again, I'm going to just quickly check where this is. Kentucky? Is that right? Yeah, Kentucky. Okay. So, did you buy this truck from GCM? Holy 5-1. Yes, I know. I'm huge. Coal burner. Love that. That's great. I remember everything about this truck. I've actually got photos of this truck in my Lightroom right now, I think, which is pretty cool. So kudos to you for having... Oh, Indiana. My apologies. I must have just mistakenly seen where the border was. Painted by Tim. Oh, hi, hi, other fellow Toyota enthusiast. How are you, Chris? Good to see you. Many Chris's. Chris Robinson from GCM Racing built this truck. Chris, 2007 Harps. Nice to see you. I loved this truck. This is a great truck. This is a GCM Racing C-Max, as you can tell by the bumper sticker. It's a big-ass truck, but very capable. I like this one. RC Addict had it after GCM Racing. Adam Van Ord even drove it at one time. Oh, man, it's been around. Okay, well, let's get to it. Quick fix on the rotation here. There we go. Constrain that so it fixes. And let's start correcting. I feel like this one could be a bit bleaker, so I am going to go cool. Exposure-wise, I'm just dialing that back a little bit. Contrast, I'm going to amplify. Highlights, I'm going to bring back up a little bit. Yeah, there. Shadows are pretty good right where they're at. Texture, obviously. Clarity, heck yes. Saturation overall, we're going to bring that back up. I really like this environment. This is so cool. I've never seen anything quite like this. Is this rock or is it hard shale or is it just mud? Very cool. Yeah, I feel like this could use a bit of a crop. Just on the bottom though. Yeah. Nice. If it resizes, that's basically a crop. No, it's not. As much as you might want it to be, it isn't. And I'm going to try to make this a bit of a dramatic sky. There we go. Already liking where this is starting to fall. Medium vignette on that one. It's rock, Matt. Fossil beds. I like it. Very cool. I'm just playing with the luminance a bit on some of these elements here. See if I play, there's, radial filter. You could use that to get the truck to pop, or you could just find the color it is and increase the luminance. Saturation's already really good on that. But oranges, I'm going to bring that up a little bit so we get a bit of that environment happening. And maybe some of the greens too. Just play with that a little bit. What a desolate environment. It's such a cool spot. I'm like really blown away by this one. That's really neat. I like it a lot. Feel like because it's a D110 and it's the older model, like a original Defender, should we add some grain? I think we should. I think that looks pretty good. Yes, everyone, you can zoom in to the bottom here, and everyone's name will appear when I scroll over them. Some of them we've already done. I'm sure, Dale, I'm sure I've got one of yours in here somewhere. I feel like I've seen your name, or maybe I sent one out this week and that's what I'm thinking about. Nope, there you are. I think we're going to do that one next, so stay tuned. What else do I want to do? I feel like I maybe over rotated this one. I think I did. There. That's better. Probably pretty subtle, but it's better. I don't know. I think that might be it. What a cool photo. Before, after. Ooh, I like that. I'm quite chuffed with myself on that one. I mean, we can, G Martin, I can go in and adjust this even further. If we underexpose it, does that kind of do what you're thinking? I think it kind of does. I think I actually maybe even prefer that. Well, let me just one quick deal on that one. Maybe just a little less blue. Yeah. That's all it needed. Too much crop. Never too much crop. Perfect amount of crop. Before, after. Before, after. Yeah, driving into a storm. I love this environment. I want to go to this place. It's so cool. That's really great. That is chuffingly good. I think this might be the picture of the week. I know it's early for me to say that, but I'm really, really liking this one. Yeah, awesome. That's great. All right. Dale, as promised, nice looking Wrath. I love your Axle Wrath. Yeah, no kidding, Josh. I'd love to drive a bomber through there too. Or just go slow and crawl like a normal adult. Not everything's all about sending it, despite what you might think. Okay. Nice looking Axle Wrath, which is what I've heard people call them. I love the blue and orange combo. Really, really good combo on that. Nice big photo to Vanquish Wheels, bro. I am not a boring human whatsoever. Man, the only thing, and I think we're going to make it work to our advantage here, is this guardrail. I wish this guardrail wasn't in this photo, and I bet, Dale, you feel the same way. But we're going to make it work. I love this location too. Where is this? Tell me where this is. Well, I quickly do a crop that no one's going to see me do. It's like... Josh actually attempted to draw T-Rex fly fishing when I made that wheel order. Amazing. Oh, I didn't put any request in on my latest order. I just bought the SCX-10 3 axles because I have no restraint whatsoever. But I am going to put them on a special project that I have coming up. I'm doing a gladiator, boys. I'm gonna fully kit it out, top of the line, everything. It's not going to be a budget build whatsoever. It's sort of like blow your budget build, but I kind of want to show what's capable and possible with an RTR and truly spending your way to the top of the pile. Love this truck. Love the negative space that you've used here. I think my subtle crop has helped it even more. I didn't crop. No, I didn't. I just cropped out the bottom. I kept everything left and right and top. I didn't change any of that, videos. Get over it. All right. Anyway, let's make this photo better. I think temperature as shot is really nice. I'm not going to change that at all. Was this a raw photo or just a big JPEG? Just a big JPEG. Nice 4K JPEG. Thank you. Exposure. I'm just going to dial it back ever so slightly. Definitely give us a bit more contrast here. I feel like whites and blacks, I don't really need to do many adjustments on that. Shadows, I am going to keep them where they are, but I am going to dial them back just a tiny little bit, so not exactly where they were. Highway 2, way up in the mountains in Washington, 2 hours before the smoke rolled in. Nuts. Yeah, man, those fires are out of control. I hope everybody is safe and taking care of each other there, because it's a mess. Definitely texture. I think we may even try to overcrank some of that texture here. A little more clarity too. Light vignette, I think. Definitely more vibrance as well. But one byproduct of all that vibrance, and you can see it in the headlights, is that they've gone quite blue. So let's fix that. Warm them right up. It's going to be hard to get all that out, I think. It's pretty blue. Or if I can adjust my HSLs within this. I think we can, so let's try. No, it affects everything. It's so weird. Taking on a pixel. Change the raw setting. Okay, no, that's fine. We got lots of res here. It's totally good. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to take out all the saturation of this window. And that cleans it right up. Cool. Cool beans. All right. Now, let's go into our HSLs. And I love what the blue is doing right now. Let's pull the saturation of the red down on the pumpkin so it's not so in your face. And orange feels pretty good. I actually like how it's popping out of the scene. Bring up our yellows a bit so to get the environment to come to life. Same with our greens. And I'm going to do aqua and blue as well because it's really nice to see this cool water here. And just going to play with the hues on our greens a little bit. Somewhere in there, I think. Yeah, I like this photo a lot. This is really great. Nice environment. I miss this stuff on the West Coast. We don't have exactly this in Ontario where I'm from. So yeah, this is kind of like very much of a reminder of how much I like it out there and how much I hope of it still remains after all of this these fires end. Okay, let's take a look at that full screen for a moment, which, man, that looks so awesome. Before, after. Just notice I didn't change the orange barely at all. It all just really comes to life. Feeling pretty good about that one. Not a crazy correction overall, but I think it just brings it to life. Very nice. Thank you very much for that submission, Dale. Holy, it's been an hour already. That's crazy. Time flies when you're having fun. I'm pretty pleased with that. Yeah, that's right, Shane Eclipse. Most Pixels are really good cameras. I think it's all the lenses. Don't the Pixels have like 3 or 4 lenses now? So you can get that depth of field. Man, remember camera phones back in the day, like flip phone camera phones? Those were trash. That looks really good. All right. Um, let's do this one from Kelly Hartle here. Sort of an action shot of what looks to be quite a custom buggy, moon buggy style, I guess. Love this background and this environment. Wow. That sky is amazing. Truck's a little tiny bit blurry, obviously caught in the middle of action and with low light because it looks like it's at sunset. Probably a little difficult to capture everything all in one frame with the movement and everything, but let's see what we can do to this one. I feel like if we lower our exposure a little bit, that'll actually help us in the long run. Bring our highlights down so we can get more of that sky happening. Amplify our vibrance and a little bit of saturation as well. I think texture helps a lot. And maybe a touch of clarity, not too much though. As you can see, the background is the thing that's more in focus than the truck because it's moving. Yeah, not the best quality photo. It is fairly small, but we'll work with what we have. See if we can get a little more exposure out of this truck. A little bit of blues, a little bit of saturation. That's feeling pretty good. What a cool environment. I'm blown away by that. No crop required on this one. Pixels have 4 lenses. I was right. I'm still on an iPhone because I'm still kind of locked in the Apple ecosystem. All my music is there, all my movies are there, and if you quit using it, you lose all that stuff. So if you don't use it, you lose it. um, yeah, I mean, I think that's feeling pretty good. Not a huge difference, but again, it's just about bringing the truck to life and helping that background a little bit. Maybe in our saturations, our HSL sliders. That's not really going to do any good. I think that's good. I think we're done on that one. Full screen for a moment. Before, after. It's really more about the environment on this one, I think. That's right. Dash Hoopty. Daz Hoopty. I don't want to have to buy flying cars twice. Before, after. Very cool shot. Thank you very much, Kelly, for the submission. All right. One more? Do we do one more? Let's do one more. Let me find one more to do here. Which one, though? Let's do Tawny Morrison's Blazer build here. This looks like it's a combination of a few different trucks, looks like. We've got Marlin Crawler wheels and tires, RC 4-wheel drive Blazer body, which is nicely detailed, I might add. I love the paint on that. And then it looks to be on an SCX 10-2 chassis. So a little bit of everything going on there. Very nice. Okay. Let's see if maybe we'll do a preset on this one. If we can find one that kind of works. Maybe black and white? No, not black and white. Are you crazy? I'm not really seeing anything I'm in love with. This one's not bad. Turquoise and red. Taking the easy way out on this one. Keep that saturation nice high. Bring up our shadows a little bit so we get some elements. Not a big photo. Which one is your Yoda, Dash? I'll do that one as a bonus for tonight. Sharpen that a little bit. Not a huge photo, so it is a bit of a challenge for sure. We'll do a heavy vignette on this one. Still a nice looking blazer though. I do very much like it. Maybe a wider bumper to kind of match the contour and the profile of the front flip. But that would be my only suggestion. Otherwise, I think it's a good looking truck. I like the cream and sort of lime yellow, lime green on there. That's cool. Brown and cream Hilux. All right. I will find that one. What would the name be on the photo? What would your actual name be? Can't say I've seen it yet. No, no, no. I don't see any Hiluxes in here. Hilugs. Not that one. Ryan. Okay, thanks, Ryan. Tyler Robinson, Mark, Kyle, Juggernaut RC. Garrett. Must be blind. Was to the right of the last one I did. Oh, there it is. Okay. I understand now. For whatever reason, I didn't think that was a Hilux. But anyway, Tani, thank you for your submission. And hey, if there's anybody out there who would like to submit a photo and you haven't, you have, and you want to do it again, submissions at scalebuildersguild.com. I go through these every week, upload a whole bunch into the old Lightroom here and correct away, and then send them again the following week. So you will get your photos back. Let's finish with Ryan McKinstry's photo here of his Hilux. And this is a nice big photo. Thank you for sending this one. Bonus Scale Builders Guild shield on the back. I approve. I love the paint. Nice stripes on there. Like the camper back as well. Is this a full-on bruiser? Yes, it is. Very awesome. Love it. Clearly, though, you've changed out for regular hubs, so you can put normal wheels and tires on there. Nice to see a man in there as well. I like everything about this one. Very cool. Nice depth of field. Nice framing of your photo. No need to crop it. Nice and big. Good white balance on the day, but we're going to warm it up a little bit, really play up some of that warmth. Maybe give it a touch of well, let's see here. Touch of exposure. Dial back our highlights a bit so those sunbeams aren't so hot. Again, it's nice to work with, like, this is an NEF, which I think is a Fuji RAW format, maybe? Is that right? I can't remember. But anyway, having all that latitude in a RAW photo is excellent. So thank you for giving me that to play with. Put a medium vignette on there. And since it's a Hilux, I feel like we could use some grain. Shadows, I'm going to bring those up so you get to see a bit more of the truck. I like the wheel tire combo on there too. Those are RC four-wheel drive wheels and what looked to be Proline KR2s? Nikon. Right. Nikon. I should have known that. Nikon Exchange Format, I think is what NEF stands for. Let's go a little more saturated. Sorry, guys. It's so weird. Audio's back. Sorry about that. It's something to do with RTX voice and the way it's working on this computer. Every once in a while, something just kind of goes. But we're back. It's back. It's back. It's back. It's back. Travis, you're funny. We can't hear you. I wouldn't complain if it was Josh's feed. Yeah, that's so weird. Everything seems okay now, so sorry about that, guys. It seems to always happen just on this computer, which is so weird. I'm gonna have to look into why that's happening. Anyway, it is the last photo of the night anyway, so we should be okay here. Stand by while I just make sure everything's still running. Looks like we're good. And what was I doing here? Oh yeah, I was playing with the luminance. Just bringing the red luminance down a little bit too, so you can kind of get these taillights a bit better. I like seeing the red shocks though. We're going to leave those. And what else did I want to do? Oh yeah, the hue. I want to bring the greens back. Like I could go fall, which is sort of like this. Or I could just go back to where it was. Or I can hyper-saturate it, which I think looks crazy weird. So I think we're just going to kind of split the difference and go a little bit more in the hue there. We're going to bring that saturation back up. But then in here... You know what? Let me see where we're at. Let me see full screen. Oh, wow. That's a huge difference. It's so weird. It's like you got to kind of have to look back and say, just go back and say, okay, well, here's where I started. And here's where we are now. Wow, what a difference. I think that looks pretty good. What do you think, Ryan? I'm pretty happy with that one. Anything you want to try? Or are we good? I think we might be good. I'm feeling pretty good about that one. I think that's probably going to do it too. So another great episode, a lot of really great submissions, so many more to come. I really appreciate you guys sending these in and participating in these live streams. It's super fun for me, and I hope that it's super fun for you. Obviously, we'll just keep going with these as long as photos keep rolling in. Submissions at scalebuildersguild.com. I will continue to do this show, and it's pretty awesome. Forgot I had the stream going for a second, then all of a sudden I hear Matt again. Amazing. All right, thanks everybody. Be sure to check in tomorrow night for what do we do? Live stream takeover. Which is going to be a very fun show. Maybe we'll even talk about the next project that we've got going on. It's going to be a fairly long-term one, and it's going to require a lot of effort on both of our parts, but nothing we're not afraid of. Never mind all the other actual projects I've got to do. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again tomorrow night. Take care, everybody.